Welcome to No Question About That. This is the late running midweek pod with Dharnish. How's it going, sir?
Good. Very, very good. Was enjoying Nando's conversation with you there. I don't know, for those listeners in the UK, obviously they know what Nando's is.
Yeah, it's an institution.
It's a way of life, is what it is.
A religion. Yeah.
It's
One
just-
love. Nando's, the religion.
It's just a chain in the UK that does chicken and chips. And it got famous, I think, because skint students used to take their dates there. I've never personally been on a Nando's day.
You're missing out. Tinder plus Nando's.
I know. No one says yes to me.
Oh.
I'm joking.
Not offering up enough free Nando's is what you're not doing. There was once an article years back. Yeah, there's this article in The Guardian a few years back that was all about how Nando's is aspirational. So it's not real fast food, it's aspirational. It made me laugh a lot. Nothing like it here in the States. Like chicken is almost always fried, breaded and fried. And
you go to Wendy's, no? Wendy's is good, apparently.
I don't ever go to Wendy's. I think my little son likes to go there with his grandpa now and again.
That's cute.
Eat a lot.
Isn't that sweet?
Food, honestly. But yeah,
going to Wendy's with Grandpa Barker.
I know, isn't that nice? Well, got to make sure he's on the wheel. He knows where his bread is buttered. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about where the state of the club post West Ham and Wolves, which gave us a little bit of a direction. I don't know. I got accused on Spotify of being negative about the Wolves.
So much hate.
It's so much hate. It's so funny.
Pages of comments.
Pages. They hate me. Well, no, Goldbridge will tell you that no publicity is bad publicity, right? I think my reaction to that one, I'd love to get your view. It was that Wolves are so shit and so unbelievably stupidly open that it played into all of United's strengths and didn't test any of our weaknesses. And so I just didn't know where to benchmark this as a performance at all.
Yeah, I got a bunch of hate because I think I tweeted something like, dude, I'm begging you, don't take this seriously, which is a little bit over the top because why am I, the action of me on my knees begging somebody to not take Man United playing good football seriously. But I agree, like there's I didn't realize how bad these lot were until I saw them because somebody gave me some XG stats, as you do on a Monday evening. And I was like, well, maybe they should have had more wins or whatever. And I think they only beat Villa by a goal, but obviously that was a derby. There's probably more hate there involved. And Unai Emery in big games is really weird. He's a little bit of a crackhead. He into this like defensive shell. But they are so bad. That's like, dude, I think I was getting angry at the fact that they didn't score more in the first half. And then it was a Europa League game from 24-25 of last season where it's, this system works. And it's like, no, they have yards of space. That's why it works.
Wolves didn't press at all. They didn't put any pressure on United's back three. And then the vertical ball forward from central midfield into the channels was just on all of the time, wasn't it? I mean, it's amazing that Wolves, as crap as they are, and they left their wing backs as high as you could possibly get them with no cover at all.
I was alarmed more about how much space they had in the middle of the pitch. Casemiro had a yard easy, Mount easy yard. There's so many games like I think some of the Solskjaer games that I used to watch, where it's literally like, it's Bruno Fernandes running around, creating stuff, being everywhere, magicking stuff out of nowhere. If you give him that space, he'll easily pick you up, and he did.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know that people say don't be negative, but there's a fine line now because it's like I think Andy Mitten said it on Talk of the Devils. He said, look, there's two camps. The one that really loves Amorim and just wants it to work, and the other that kind of can not see through it, but has enough evidence of the 58 games that we've had to know that there's still problems with this guy and he still isn't really budging. We've seen some improvements, absolutely, but it's still not really to a point where we want it because I'm just looking at the last 6 games. Everton, West Ham was a game I was pretty infuriated with. Tottenham, Nottingham Forest. I think it's unbeaten in 9, but it's also like maybe 2 wins in maybe 1 win in 6 or 2 wins in 6 or something like that.
And also the performance levels in those games,
they've been
Wolves aside, right? And it feels like an exception. Yeah. There's 3 camps, by the way. There's the camp that sees through Ruben, the camp that just wants United to win, and then there's the Andy Mitten camp right on the fence where he loves
right in the middle.
I love Andy, but he does tend to fall in between two stools. But look, I think all of this is fair, right? So analysis is not negativity. United have a long way to go before we're as good as the top guys. Even if you look at the table and you go, it's only 5 points to a Champions League place, right? That's doable. 3 wins in. If we'd won those games against Everton when they were down at 10 men and West Ham, we'd be in the Champions League places right now. So I understand that.
Yeah.
And yet, and look, you can look at the XG, and United have a really high XG. It's either top or second in the league at the moment, especially because we had 4+ XG against Wolves. That helps. But you dig into a little further beneath, and the performances don't match the results, right? And necessarily, there have been a lot of really crap performances. Quite a number of very uneven performances. And I don't think a single 90 minutes this season where you'd say, hey, they've sustained their level. Even against Wolves, that 15 minutes before half-time, Wolves were really in that game.
I think my brother said it at the time and he was spot on. Why are you playing to the same level of the opposition? Why are you playing to this? Like, it's like they get the level down. They come down to whatever level the game is at. Or they come down to whatever level the team that they're playing at. It's insane. They did it against West Ham. After the 1-1, after it went 1-1, there was like 2 minutes where West Ham were kind of the ones attacking and Bowen was crossing the ball often. It's just, I don't know. I want them to manage the game sometimes. It's baffling a little bit. I know we speak about, I just want to reference your point about 5 points off the Champions League places. I think are we 1 point off the Champions League spots now? Maybe less to Chelsea.
I actually can't remember. Where are we? 7th or 8th?
I think we're 7th, but I think it's one. I've got the table here. We're 6th in the table, and Palace have 1 more point than us in 4.
Right.
And
okay.
It'll probably be the first 4 spots that get Champions League this season. So we're literally a point off the Champions League places.
Well. Yeah, it depends. So,
but it's a very.
It could do with, I suppose, a few English clubs doing a bit better in European competitions because Spurs and Newcastle are not doing that great. Yeah,
Spurs won't, but I think everyone's going to go through basically for the first round at the very least. But it's not. We can't really say that because I feel like any club from Palace to about Newcastle who are in 12 kind of is saying that this. If we had points here, if we had points there, we would be up. But it's very true. I won't discount it, but the Forest and Spurs game, because the second half was so crap, same again with Forest. Everton, they didn't really deserve to win, but they should have with 10 men and they should have created more. West Ham, absolutely 2 points drop. So yeah, if you added 5 points there, United could have been third, level with Villa, 3 points of Arsenal. But the fact of the matter is, that team isn't there yet. It doesn't create enough.
And that's why we're dropping those points, because the team isn't quite good enough yet. I think it'll be continual frustration. The upcoming absence of Mbeumo, Ahmad and Mazraoui is going to hurt, no doubt.
Yeah.
And I suppose, don't wish it for those players because I wish them every success, but Cameroon, Ivory Coast and Morocco getting knocked out early would be
a certain ex. Can I say X? I think he's still current Man United goalkeeper. Plays for, I think, Cameroon. Andre Onana.
Up again, yeah. Let's see if he plays more than 2 games before falling out with the coach this time.
I mean, go ahead and play a few games, chuck the ball into the net like you did in the Champions League games and bring Mbeumo back. That's playing 4D chess, trying to win your place back ahead of St. Lawrence. But the AFCON will definitely hurt Mbeumo and Diallo on that side. It's more so like, I think we're in this zone now with Man United where it's, well, if we had 5 more points, we'd be third. But then there's also this feeling of, but if we had a different coach, would we be up there? If we had a different coach with the new attack in the summer, or would we play better? It's difficult to figure out because then at the same time, I absolutely think there's been some improvement this year. I absolutely think he has leaned into what the Premier League is doing. We play a lot more long balls. We're the best team in the league for set pieces. You'll never sing that. The press is miles better. There's some things that I like. Also, the Wolves and West Ham game, whilst tactically, it might have been more of the same. The change that I have seen, and okay, it's been 58 Ruben Amorim games for him to see this. Bruno Fernandes is now pushing up more. It's a 3-1-6. I've seen this. He's pushing Fernandes up, which basically means you can stretch teams wider. It means you have Mbeumo, Cunha, and Fernandes in the middle of the pitch, occupying 2-3 centre backs at once, and then the fullbacks going wider. He did it against West Ham and it worked. He did it against Wolves in the second half, where he was like, "Look, okay, these lot are mid. Utterly, these lot are crap. So we can commit more players up there."
Do you think that's why Dallow's been moved to left wing back, because he inverts so well and is actually part of the build up now? So you can take a risk with Fernandes being a little further ahead and not being the guy who takes the ball off the centre backs all the time.
Yeah, but I hope he's just learned that from Everton. I wish he did it against Everton, because I didn't really see it against Everton. But yeah, Dalot inverts very well. He was doing it to a decent level with Ten Hag's final season. I think he got Player of the Year that year. And in the last...
Players Player of the Year.
Player of the Year. But, I mean, we'll give Dalot some flowers. A lot of people in the world don't, even when he does all right. But with that, I think he's been very good in the last 2 games. He's got a goal and assist. And we could really just do with somebody being a good wing-back who isn't named Amad Diallo. It's just... The last...
Do you spunk 65 million on Antoine Semenyo and try and convert him into a wing back?
Absolutely, I would, yeah. But it seems like Liverpool are one step ahead, trying to push Mo Salah out and trying to get Semenyo in with that.
Yeah.
I
do think Semenyo is a forward rather than a wing back, but who knows? Adaptable player. So.
In Amorim's system, he'll try anybody at wing back, I think.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, it comes under the second point I wanted to talk about, really, which I suppose has been a topic on the pod for weeks on end. But I was just thinking about it today because I was writing my Substack piece on January and whether United should gamble. And we saw the financial results this week. They are brutal from one perspective in terms of debts. United owe £750 million net.
Woo!
And have not quite maxed out the company credit card, but 280 odd million pounds out of the 350 on the revolving credit facility.
There's not much. Heck.
Yeah, I know.
What interest rate are they getting on that?
It's quite high. Yeah. Bank of America and others. There's not much cash on hand. So from that perspective, it looks really hard to go and spend a lot of money. You'd be pulling forward from the summer budget. And yet, under the squad cost rule, I have loads of space. I mean, Jamie and I were talking about it on the Finance Pod a couple of pods back. Maybe even 600 or 700 million pounds worth of space.
Huh?
In one cycle, right? You'd have claw back some of that, but there's a massive amount of space. I mean, United's turnover to wage ratio is now down at 52%. It's the lowest it's been for 5 years or so.
Very
historically. United have all, right, and record revenues and all so. There's a lot of ways you could paint it rosy. There's, if I was looking at it from a company perspective, I'd be worrying about that debt to equity ratio, which is above 3 now, and I'd be worrying about the sustainability. There's a few metrics we use in finance to score sustainability of the companies. They are a distressed company in terms of like debt and ability to pay it down. In fact, I see no path forward for paying it down until Ratcliffe owns the company overall. There's no method for Ratcliffe putting more cash into the business at all, unless the Glazers want to sell him more equity, but they would want to pocket that, right? So there's there's just no mechanism. So there's only 3 levers. United can cut costs, and they've already cut costs to the bone. They can find new sponsors, and that's really hard when we're not in European competition. You see Tezos didn't renew, and they haven't found another sponsor for that one. Or they can be so good on the pitch that they start to win things, but it's a long game and it's not going to come to play till next season. So it's like they could spend money now, but they'd basically be pulling it forward from the summer. And they could probably only spend 40 or 50 million or something like that.
Whilst they have the space. Whilst they have the space to... Yeah, I mean, whilst they have the space to spend 700 million, what we're basically saying is...
Capacity to do
it looks like at the minute they can only spend about 40 million. So it's like It's like your dad saying you can buy whatever the hell you want in the shop and having £2 in your pocket.
Yeah.
But you could still spend that £2 on a wing back if you feel like it's necessary. Or I don't know, get some loans in, ship out.
Well, that's the question. Would United be better? I mean, Semenyo's off to the AFCON, but imagine we trigger that. It's the clause is active from the 1st to the 10th of January. So reports say trigger it 65 million. You know what you're spending. That's it. Done, dusted. You get another forward in. And even though you probably want to use him in those number 10 positions, that is Cunha and Mbumo, there's been injuries and instability in those forward areas, and you could use him a wing back, right? Would that be worth it? Or would you, given that their target list in central midfield, they all look more expensive than that.
Wildly expensive.
Would you get a loan in, Conor Gallagher is the name that's been bandied around
I don't get why
I don't understand that one.
I don't get why they love that. But then again, everybody cried in the summer about Liam Delap and, oh God, oh please, Liam Delap. Oh, I want Liam Delap. And now he's a bully boy. He always gets red carded. I think people at the time were, transfers are weird. Like everyone's like, oh God, I really wanted him. And then, it's like a girl that you really want. And then you realize some boy has got it. And then the girl's actually kind of awful. That's kind of what transfers are like. The merry-go-round of strikers in the summer, when you look at it, I think it's Jai Keres, Šeško, Isak, and I think there was one, maybe Waltemada. In the end, the three of the biggest ones that were touted, they've kind of been a little bit fit. Like maybe Šeško is kind of in the middle ground at the minute, but the others have been a failure. Like they were massively after Šeško. They were massively after Jai Keres.
Waltemada at Newcastle's been probably the best of the lot.
Revelation.
Right?
Yeah, revelation. Yeah. He looks terrific, but in terms of what we can do in January, who did we sign in January last season? Was it just Dogu?
Patrick Dogu.
It was just Dogu, yeah. That was Amorim's first signing. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it depends on players leaving. I don't know who would leave first. Mainu would cause a lot of outrage.
It's Kobe. Yeah, Kobe mainly, but probably a loan rather than a sale. But I think we're still heading towards a sale unless they cut ties with Amorim at the end of the season. There's no path forward for Kobe to stay at the club if Amorim's at the club long term. He's got to know that by now. Amorim knows it. We all know it. We're pretending that suddenly he can become a different player.
It's very sad.
In training or something. It just doesn't happen. So I'm rarely definitive about stuff you can make any argument. I just don't believe any other one. Then we'll get to a position where sell Kobe. Yeah.
A sale happens. I mean, it's also, we should maybe look at the history of the sales under Man United in the Ineos era. And I think we have two academy graduates, McTominay, Garnacho, and one academy graduate is currently on loan. And I guess Kobe would be another one.
It's a very attractive proposition because you can bank all of that right now. Yeah, not that United need the headroom actually under financial fair play or squad cost rule. So that's less of an incentive now that we have a bit of space, now that they've restructured things. But the cash now is useful, and it just means you can go spend that money. The only thing I'd say is there's a chance of a kind of false economy, right? You think, well, we'll sell Kobe for 40, 50, 60 million, whatever you can get for him. Every week he doesn't play, the price goes down, right? And then you can bring someone in, but to get that kind of quality, you're likely to have to spend more, right?
I mean,
and he's not on big wages.
No, he's not. I think it's highly likely. Was it Laurie Whitwell? I think he produced the story. Kobe wanted to leave again in January. Was that right? I think it's highly likely he goes on loan somewhere, absolutely shines, and he raises his value come the summer, and then somebody comes with bids. I cannot believe that we're sitting here in a situation where Mainu is just not important to this team or squad.
I know.
I approach it logically. Fernandes and Casemiro, to me, underrated in that pivot. I don't think we go wrong with that pivot. I think they start. I think Casemiro is really underrated this season. I think he's back to his best. I think he breaks up attacks. I think he's calmer, sharper, he looks fitter. He's not sliding about all over the pitch. Bruno is Bruno. You're going to have to play him. But I still cannot believe that we're in a position where this kid who is so good at ball carrying, so good at close control, so good at dribbling past 2 or 3 players, which we rely on in this system for Cunha and Mbeumo to do, I cannot believe that he isn't getting half an hour at the end of a game, half an hour when I need fresh legs, or even Mason Mount minutes, because he could absolutely play in that left 10. Amorim's system isn't really about 3-4-3. It's about the rotations and trying to drag players in certain positions and moving them around. And Mbeumo and Cunha, they're tasked with dribbling probably most times in a game past 3 or 4 players. Mainu could do that. And I'm just really surprised that we haven't seen him more in that left or right 10 role.
He got a couple of games at the end of last season, but I mean, it feels like a year wasted, doesn't it?
We just haven't seen him enough in these, for somebody who burst onto the scene. And I'm talking like that 23-24 season where we had so many mind-boggling injuries. It was, I think, one centre-back partnership was Johnny Evans and Victor Lindelof. And I think Hannibal Mejbri was playing. And there was this Star Wars, A New Hope, Mainu every single game. And he was just brilliant in every single game. And I cannot believe that now we're in a situation where he's getting 10 minutes at the end of a game against Wolves when we're 4-1 up, when we know we're going to win. And that's where we're at with him. Like, you can't find any spot for him.
There's a logical piece to it, which is he's such a high quality player. We don't know where his ceiling is and we don't know his path, but he's a high quality player and an intelligent player and introspective enough that I think he's got his head screwed on, right? So you'd expect his development to be good, right? So there's a logical piece. Why can't we use him? It's mad that we can't use him. Then there's the second part of the logical piece, which says, well, we know what kind of profiles Amorim wants and Kobe Mainoo doesn't fit it at all, right? So kind of understand why he's not playing. And then there's the emotional piece, which is he's from Manchester. He's integrated into the community. You know, I think Andy Misson talked about on the last Talk of the Devils pod about going with him to his school and how much people looked up to him. He's a Manchester lad. He's come from the academy. That is important, right? Yeah. These are not just like cogs in a machine in a factory that are just there to be used to get the most value out of, right? There's an emotional part of football, which we're all fans, right? This is why we're talking about it and why people are listening and why everyone goes to the stadium. And it means more, to steal a phrase, when you have some local players in the team, and he's the only one. Like as talented as some of those under-18s are, played. I don't know whether you saw the Youth Cup game against Peterborough the other night. Some brilliant talents in there. JJ Gabriel, we're going to be talking about a lot until he leaves for Real Madrid.
I've heard a lot of stuff
in the summer, or whatever.
God,
like he's the only one, Cobby, right? That you cannot. As much as Manchester United is also about big business and sponsors, and and we have to be accountants and talk about debt and equity and ownership arrangements and stuff like that. You can't discount the emotional piece, and that emotional piece is really important.
No, I mean it's not just. It's like at the very least, I had so many problems with Ten Hag in his towards the end of his time, but I think he understood that he could utilize what Manchester United was, and he could utilize the best things about Man United as a club historically, because I know every football fan would like to convince you their club has certain morals or certain standards or certain principles that they all ascertain by. West Ham fans keep telling me about the West Ham way. Bro, I don't know what the hell that is. I'm sorry. No offense to any West Ham fans, but Man United has that. Man United has a certain aura. It has a certain feel to it. We've been mediocre for 10 years and people still bang on about us. Every single week, every day I get text messages. Ha ha ha, you lot of crap. I'm like, mate, yeah, but we're still in your head. So I don't get why, I think Scholes said it today, I don't get why he doesn't use those certain aspects that they still have, that Man United of, this is Man United. We promote the youth. We throw them in the deep end because we know how good they can be. And the last 10 minutes, I want chaos in the box and we're just going to go for it. And those are two real bugaboos. Those are two huge red flags that Amorim has. Yeah. Particularly as well, if you look at the last 6 games, we've dropped points because he's just too pragmatic. It's conservative tactics. Go ahead.
I worry that he's out of sync with the club, and that thing you're talking about, the United way, whatever you want to call it, the DNA of the club, whatever it is that we've established over 150 years of existence, but especially within our lifetimes under Fergie and the risk-taking, the attacking football and the youth and the youth courage success. It's on the bloody shirts. And I feel like we're not getting enough of that. And he might be out of sync with the values of the club. And people can kind of go, that's nonsense. If we win, that's all that matters. Fine. And we said that about Mourinho.
It is to a degree. It is to a degree. But then at the same time, whilst you're betraying the principles of the DNA of the club, and then it's affecting your results detrimentally. Like we're literally dropping points because you keep going into a low block. Tottenham went ahead, dropped into a low block far too early, dropped points. Forest leading, dropped into a low block, drew again. West Ham cruising. But then for some reason you decided to decrease the pressure. That's the 6 points you've dropped in the last 6 games. It's too pragmatic.
All of which to say is that United should drop 150 million on Elliot Anderson and Antoine Semenyo this winter. Champions League football will be guaranteed, and that will look like a fucking bargain. How much PSG made out of winning the Champions League?
How much?
148 million euros. That's not including gate receipts. That's not including additional sponsorship. That's not even including the money they get from the Super Cup or future FIFA Club World Cup event, wherever the next one is. There's just so much money there that this is the gamble, right? Spend money now to chase the dream, or be pragmatic, as I think we're seeing that Ratcliffe's regime is pretty pragmatic financially, and go, well, we could spend 60 million on a player this winter, but it'd take a little while to integrate. What if they get injured? We're pulling money forward from our preferred signings in the summer. The risk reward ratio is it's hard to calculate. Anyway, I'm a fan. My fan head says go spend the money, chase the dream, because we want to be back in the Champions League as quick as possible.
There's nothing that beats a Man United signing. Absolutely nothing that beats a Man United signing. Those tweets saying we're back, I love them. But I guess we'll see. There's also, I don't know how true this is, but I'll throw that out there. Haven't we heard this story before from Ratcliffe and his financial team, and saying we've got no money and we don't actually have power to spend, and they've spent, right? So I don't know.
Well, we know how they did it. They drew 105 million pounds from the company credit card in the summer,
right? Okay,
to finance the spending. Yeah, I mean, it's, as I said, there's a few ways you can cut the financials. United absolutely can spend. They will be borrowing to do it.
Yeah,
and you spread the fee over 5 years and all of that, but we do owe hundreds of millions to other clubs still. Yeah, so there's some work to do. All right, there we go. The women's team lost in midweek. So little segment on this. It's a second heavy defeat in a row. Obviously lost to Wolfsburg, previous Champions League match day, lost to Lyon. These are two clubs that have been in multiple finals, or in Lyon's case, won many Champions Leagues in the last 10 years or so. So I think it's fair to say they're playing catch up a little bit in terms of the standards there. They won opening 3 games, United. So they are playing Juventus next. They'll likely qualify for the knockout. They're in a good position to qualify if they don't lose heavily, depending on other results. But I think we're seeing that squad is extremely thin.
Yeah. I think it's a good starting 11 from what I see from some of the summer signings as well.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it needs doing okay in the league, I think.
Yeah, they're third. They're third.
I think they're 7 points off first.
Yeah, City are doing really well. Chelsea had their first loss. I think they lost to, who was it, Everton or something at the weekend? They hadn't lost in 35 games or something, which is more than a season. And Arsenal are doing all right. So City are doing surprisingly well this season. So yeah, it's only the top 3 that will get into next season's Champions League. So there's 4 into 3, basically. Doesn't quite go. I think Skinner talked about it in the press conference this week about how thin the squad is. And we all knew that from the summer anyway. I mean, Jess Parker's turned out to be a brilliant signing. and they lost Grace Clinton as part of that deal, but they just don't have enough. Turland up front actually hasn't been scoring. Mallard has, but they don't have a lot of attacking options. They had to play a left back in the centre of defence.
Well,
recent weeks, Fallon Tullis-Joyce has been injured. She had a head injury. The downgrade is significant, and so on and so on. They just don't have a big enough squad to compete in the Champions League and the league at the same time.
Yeah. Dealing with a hefty winter schedule.
Yeah. And then the Youth Cup game, it's caught all the headlines. It's the first Youth Cup game of the season at Old Trafford. There wasn't a big crowd there. You wouldn't expect it for the early rounds. If United make the final, it'll be a full Old Trafford. Played Peterborough, obviously a few divisions down, even in youth football. But I guess the headline was JJ Gabriel again playing and scoring. Brilliant. You don't want to hype for 15-year-old kids. You don't want to hype them because
of course you do, man. Who cares?
I know. But the path from the number of 15-year-old kids who actually make it, it's vanishingly small, right? And he's been at the club since he was 7. So, and at that age, he played for a lot of different teams, but he's been associated with United for a long time now. There was a risk that he might have left. Apparently, Whitwell was talking about they had to have an emergency meeting where they convinced him to stay. He's now with the club at least till 27, but at that point he could leave for free. It's only really when we get him to 17 and we can sign him on the pre-professional contract that you'd have some safety that he's staying with us for the long term. But the kid's skills are bad.
Yeah, looks so good. It's so good. The other thing about when I hear he's signed till 2027, we're going to be in 2026 within 4 weeks. That's not a long time for me. So I think within about the next 6 months they will be having negotiations. Probably. I don't know. That's not real information, but
well, at 16 he can only sign another pre-professional contract, so he can only do another 2 years. I think I'm right in saying that. But you got to show him a pathway. You got to show him this is the best environment for him to have a great career.
Yeah. But I mean,
not go to City or Madrid or Barcelona or wherever.
He's probably looking at the team and the squad now thinking, hold on, there's no academy players getting minutes. The best academy player isn't getting minutes. They're shifting out all the academy prospects to other clubs.
He might be thinking that, but then again, where would he play best, right? In one of those 2-10 positions. I know you've got Mbeumo and Cunha, but in 3 years' time, when he's fully matured, they'll be in their late 20s. And so... things can change very quickly.
Things can change. It's just, I hate to be that guy who agrees when people say, because Scholesy was saying it today, he doesn't know what the club's about. I think how many representatives were sent to the academy game? Maybe what? I think they said one board of director or something. So there was no coaches sent, stuff like
right.
Ten Hag and his assistant used to go watch reserve matches and used to go watch youth matches. So I feel like part of the United ethos or whatever is kind of being neglected by Amorim.
Yeah, although they've had a lot of academy players in first team training. Yeah. Including JJ Gabriel. I think he's had some exposure there. You want to send Fergie out to put his arm around the kid and make sure he signs.
How good is that you still have that card to play?
Absolutely. I mean, of course, JJ Gabriel was born in 2010 or something? How old is he? He's 50.
I think he's 50. So 2010. We would have been winning titles and still being in the Champions League final that year, I think.
When he was still in nappies, yeah. At some point, if we don't get good soon, Dharnish, there will be a player born after we last won the league. That play for United.
That hurts. This is the problem. That
really hurts.
We still got that United juice, man. Mbeumo, Mbeumo and Cunha were in the summer. We're like, I want some of that United juice. It might run out in 5-6 years.
Everyone wants it still. Anyway, Gabriel apparently can do 10,000 keepy uppies. I'd be lucky if I could do 5.
What were you doing when you were 15?
Drinking.
15? It's an early... Wait, is that where most people start?
I think they're a little stricter on getting ID off people these days. My local pub was not in the slightest bit strict on getting ID off people, and I was quite tall. So, and I was around that age. I can't remember when my mum first let me go to games on my own, but it was probably around that age, maybe earlier. Actually.
Yeah, well, I think it's around. I go to Spain a lot, and I see a lot of kids around parks and stuff drinking. There was also an incident, not an incident. It's not really an incident. Don't know why I called it that. But I was getting a flight from Tokyo to England, and it was like 6 a.m. I saw a bunch of kids, 15, 14 years old kids outside of 7-Eleven drinking. So maybe you're right. Maybe that is where this started.
Yeah. I mean, here it's obviously they're insanely strict. I have to provide ID to get a pint. It's ridiculous.
In America.
Yeah. I'm like, how old do you think I am? But they're just extremely strict. Yeah. I when I first started going to a lot of United games, I was going on a coach with a bunch of other people to all the get home and away, and they were absolute reprobates. There's some total wrong uns in that group.
Yeah.
I tried to keep out of too much trouble. I certainly wasn't.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I was. They would turn up at like a service station on a motorway, go in there and empty the place, and they did not pay for their stuff. There was some real wrong uns and trying to get into fights and stuff like that. I was not interested in any of that stuff. I was there for the drinking, although I don't know about you, Dharnish, but if you have 4 or 5 pints before a game, you can't really see it properly. So, oh dear. Anyway, Bournemouth at the weekend, Monday.
Yeah.
Another Monday
night.
Interesting. They've had a bit of a struggle this season, Bournemouth. Like, the results have been really up and down. They started it quite well, and they've had a lot of bad results recently. They are below us in the league, believe it or not. I guess this isn't a surprise, really, given that they sold basically most of their defence in the summer and then had to buy very late in the window.
Yeah, they sold Zaberni. They sold some. Who else did they sell? They sold Kirkish,
and the central defender who went to Real Madrid, whose name Huijsen.
There we go. We got that.
Huijsen.
I mean, Huijsen. Same thing. I mean, they've lost. I think it's like, I'm counting the games. 1, 2, 3, 4 games out. They lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've lost 4 out of 6 games. They haven't won in 6 games.
Yeah,
they played at City and Villa in that, but they've been found out by Sunderland and Everton, which is very much part and parcel for a lot of the top teams in the league this season. Those games will find you out. Chelsea are struggling with it as well. They lost to Leeds midweek. Arsenal also drew to Sunderland. The league's kind of like that. The league is like, yeah, everyone's mid, but everyone is like, yeah, but I'm getting found out because I can't beat the small teams.
But the strength goes very deep into the league, for sure, yeah. But they haven't changed the way they're playing, at least from what I've seen of them this season.
They're still
very high pressing, very aggressive.
Press extremely high. They're still... Tyler Adams is still running about, making a bunch of fouls. They get a lot of yellow cards. They foul a lot, and they get a lot of yellow cards because they're a very aggressive team. Areola has never changed under Bournemouth, even though he's lost 3 key players. It's going to be in a very aggressive press. They'll push up my Warriors. They will press our back 3 and basically do the things that Everton and David Moyes did, where within about 5 minutes, I was like, oh crap, he has read blueprint. He knows exactly how to stop Amorim, and that is press them into one corner, press the left or right centre back into one corner, which basically means they have no way to get out. They don't have a pass on forward. I don't think we will see anything less from Bournemouth. You're right that before that they were third. I think they won 4 games in a row, but it's such a weird season. Win 3 games, oh hey presto, you're third. Lose 3 games, oh we're 13th. But it's still very congested at the top. I just wouldn't take this Bournemouth team lightly at all with the way that they press and the way United struggle when pressed. It's just, I hope they use long balls. I hope they use the fact that they're at home and they press high, Man United.
Yeah, which has been more efficient at home, but our home record is not particularly good. I think we're 11th in the league in terms of our home record.
Really?
And Bournemouth's away record is really crap, though. So I don't know what that means. Great analysis, Ed, but movable object versus a very stoppable force at this point. Yeah, I wonder. I mean, it's very hard to say what team we're going to get because as of recording, we still don't know whether Mazraoui, Ahmad, and Mbeumo
he said this.
can
he said
play
this
or not.
Yeah, he said. I think they asked him, "Oh, who's going to AFCON?" He was like, "Bro, I don't know." So who's playing on Monday? Oh, bro, I don't know.
They're all supposed to be with their teams Monday morning. So who knows? They're trying to get special dispensation, but they're supposed to be a week ahead, which is already more generous than, say, at the Euros, where it's 2 weeks ahead. So
yeah, I mean, I would be pretty furious if I was the manager of him. If I had Mbeumo and Diallo in my team and they were still not with us, then I'd be pretty angry.
Of course, but that's what you do, you know. Like AFCON is in the middle of the season; it just is. So you accept it when you make those signings. But yeah, it's I don't know how exactly the United line up if they're not available. Mount Cunha, Sesko, we're unsure because he's recovered from his knee injury, but apparently got food poisoning, so he's had the shits all week. I can talk about.
Bro, is he going to Nando's as well? What's he doing?
I don't know.
I didn't see him there.
My older son ate some sushi this week, and it's normally fine, right? But he puked everywhere all over the bathroom. That was lovely. Maybe.
Oh God, did you clean it up?
Benjamin Sesko's been on the sushi as well.
Did you clean it up? You had to clean it up, didn't you?
I had to clean it up. Yeah, it's lovely.
What color was it?
Kind of pink because it was a lot of salmon sushi, I think.
What does that mean then? If it's pink?
I mean, I don't know. That's the color of the food.
Oh no, but I mean because like when someone pukes out yellow, it's like bile.
Yeah, I think it hadn't been digested enough, basically. God, what a topic for the podcast. Anyway, Benjamin Sesko's redecorated the toilets at the New Carrington. It was coming out of both ends, and so they're not sure. It didn't sound good, but I mean, maybe he'll have recovered in time.
We've missed him, to be honest. We've missed. I feel like Šeško, Cunha, and Mbeumo were just about clicking when he got injured. He got injured during the Tottenham game, and it's kind of gone hand in hand that United's form has dipped whilst he's been out, because I think his link-up play, his ability to drag defenders deep, his ability to be a marker for long balls, which we were leaning more into, I think they missed. Xerxes has a bad first half, has a better second half, and then got dropped against Wolves. I think we've missed him, and we've missed that three kind of being together, because Cunha in the process got injured, and I think he was good against Wolves. I thought he was okay.
Yeah,
but I think he kind of still looked a little bit rusty coming back from injury. So it'd be nice to have Šeško back.
For sure.
If possible.
We'll get Šeško back, and Mbeumo will be on a plane. Sadly,
if that's the case, then I maybe would see more Kobbie Mainoo minutes, or I would like to see more Kobbie Mainoo minutes. Will we is another question. It
seems unlikely. My bet would be that. I mean, depends I guess if Sesko is out and Mbeumo is out and Ahmad is gone as well,
he might have no choice.
They might have no choice. I mean, he still might go Xerxes, Cunha, Mount, which would.
I was literally thinking about that. Yeah,
I don't think it would be quite as dynamic, would it?
Xerxes, I can see it.
Much less penetration.
You've manifested it. I think it's going to happen.
Manifested it. It's not my fault.
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. One comment we got from Spotify users commenting, "These two sound like they should be the coach." Lols.
That was me. Comment. That was me. You don't see that. That was my burner.
Your burner account.
That was my burner. Yeah. This is like nice. 1, 2, 3.
But yes, I would, if I was the coach, which I am not, and I'm not qualified to be a coach, be very tempted to bring Kobbie in and push Bruno further forward, just to make up for the lack of. Like, if there's no Sesko, no Mbeumo, where are the goals coming from? So
I agree.
Getting closer to goal.
I agree. Having said that, Mount looks like he's finding some form finally.
Playing well.
Playing really well. Really well. I think his confidence is really growing this season. Even because here's the thing about, I was arguing about giving Mainoo more minutes. It's not like Mount started every game, and he's been comfortable with that, but he's effective when he plays. But you can see his confidence growing now. Some of the passes he pings was pinging was beautiful. I think his
system also suits him. I think. I mean, he's in the right kind of position.
He's in the pocket
doing Mason Mount things. Yeah,
he's in the half space. I think he's scored 3 goals now as well this season, which is quite handy.
we could do with more midfielders producing stuff. I mean, they've got Casemiro's got 3 as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, all from set pieces, really.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think this is the last Monday night game for a while. There's been a hell of a lot of them, though.
Do you know what's really funny about that? We don't play in Europe. Why are we the last game on the weekend?
Well, because it's more flexible. They can move us around because we don't have those European games. I feel sorry for the Bournemouth travelling fans. I don't know how many are going to make it up on a Monday night from Bournemouth, but I can guarantee there aren't any trains back. Good luck, lads.
Yeah, get a Radisson booked or a Ibis or something.
Hotel football, you can stay in the Paul Scholes suite or something like that.
Cost you $1,000 a night, but yeah.
There you go. It's the price you pay. Not as expensive as World Cup tickets.
Bloody hell, yeah. That's true. Yeah. Absolutely.
I was looking at the games here. Egypt versus Iran is here. Has caused some controversy already with some events that are planned locally. I can't see a ticket for less than $450.
How is that being received over in America?
I think this will like there are many American football fans who are American who fully understand the world game. I'd say the biggest cultural departure is that's just how events are ticketed and priced here. There's lots of demand. What do you expect? Kind of reaction, I think. Or look at those stupid Europeans crying about the fact that ticket prices are so expensive. Live events here are really expensive generally. If you want to go see some D-list band that no one's ever heard of, but you really like at a local venue that's still not very big, it's still going to cost you $40 or $50 plus all the Ticketmaster fees on top, right? So there's just live stuff is just generally really expensive. Generally, people are wealthier as well here. Like there's just a lot of wealth here, a lot of poverty as well, but a lot of wealth. And those two things combined with FIFA's insatiable need to make more and more money for whatever it is, non-profit for fuck's sake. I don't know why they need to make more and more money. Has kind of, culturally, I don't think there's been a lot of pushback here. It does mean that there are a lot of people who just will not be able to afford to go. And at £400, $500 plus the fees, I'm not taking the family. There's no way I'm spending $2,000 to take the kids and the wife to Egypt versus Iran, as much as that might be a magical experience. It's just, I'm not invested enough to do it. And so there will be a lot of people priced out. But the general reaction, I have not seen as much pushback from the American media and fan community as there has been from everyone else around the planet. So, yeah. And it's not what football's about. Football is not about making the most money possible.
It's not, but it's. I felt like not that they were always going to do this, but just with Trump having his hands everywhere, I feel like a lot of the stuff that he does as president has been about that. Has been about like what benefits and advantages.
Make it corruption. Yeah, sure. Yeah, this will get me deported. So yeah, maybe we shouldn't.
No,
talk about it too much.
You can edit it out, but
I'm kidding. But yeah, absolutely. And he was talking about it actually the other day. He was talking about amazing ticket sales, and apparently there's been really strong demand. I mean, it's hard to say because it's FIFA, right? So who knows what is true?
$400 for a group game.
And the magical thing about the World Cup is not just the games and the stadiums, and the color and the atmosphere in the stadium. That's really important. That's what it's also around the city, right? So if it's so expensive to come and to get hotels and to buy the tickets, there won't be that experience where the city is flooded with fans from all around the world. I remember the tournaments that have taken place in England during my lifetime. You could feel it. Right. So
yes.
And I don't know whether that will be the case here.
Yes, there's a special feel about all the people that ever give a crap about football. Everyone has that feeling. We went to Germany for the Euros. We didn't get to buy tickets for the games because they were extortionate. It was that lovely feeling of like fans just having a good time together, especially because the last Euros tournament, we got robbed of it because of COVID. So this is just great because I think we spoke to a bunch of fans, some Danish, some Scottish, some German. everybody was just having a fun time. And that's really just kind of what the football tournaments are about. I do think on the other side, because it's a World Cup, people will just muster up the cash to do so. But that doesn't mean that you can mess with people's feelings just because of that. I feel like a lot of football is that now. Just because I love this, just because I'm always going to pursue this every single week, you can kind of do what you want. I'm supposed to kind of take it.
Yeah. But it's doubly so with national teams and FIFA because it's not for profit. Like, what is the point of making the most profit possible? Now, FIFA make the argument that it goes to the 211 member associations and they do all these development projects. Look at the fucking history of that and tell me that is true. The amount of white elephant projects, and you're like, hang on a minute, this is a hut that they built in, I don't know, Namibia, and it's supposed to be a stadium. Who has pocketed the money, right?
Yeah.
And the amount of corrupt. I just pick that. I don't know that there's a stadium in Namibia. I'm making it up, right? Pick any country,
but yeah,
right.
But
there's lots and lots of examples of that kind of thing where money was supposed to build new training facilities or school facilities or a new stadium or whatever it is for development of the game, and you can't really work out how it ended up there or whether it ever did, and it's totally opaque in terms of how they run their finances or their bidding process, or even this week with the FIFA Peace Prize being awarded, there was no process to do that, and all of this kind of stuff, and it just feels dirty and grimy and corrupt, and adding rinsing fans on top of that, and I hope it doesn't ruin the World Cup. But
no, me neither.
It could well do. I mean, the one benefit, the only benefit of dynamic pricing is if ticket sales are weak for some games. So in the Club World Cup, the prices will really come down to
it might be a case of that, but I don't feel like it will be, because I've been to, like, not just football events, maybe music events and other events that you go to, and you speak to people and you go, how much did you pay? And they're like, I paid X amount. I paid $2,000 to be here, $3,000 to be here. Because, like, those are like the special moments in somebody's life when they actually just get to switch off and actually live it and get away from all the bullshit of their normal lives. The other thing
do that with the Olympics in London, though. I know it's a while ago now, but they set the prices, but you could. They were available. They sold, every event was sold out. It was accessible and it was magical as a result. And the World Cup in America and Canada and Mexico should also be magical. They're amazing stadiums and the 48 teams, and you just hope that people. I mean, there's some teams coming that the fans won't be able to be there because of sanctions and travel restrictions and all that kind of stuff. So. Add on top of that is $2,000 to take your family to a game, and anyway,
it looks a bit bleak.
Okay, let's hope that United's future doesn't look very bleak after victory on Monday night against Bournemouth. Fingers crossed. Come on, performance and I really do worry if we after we've recorded this we find out in the morning that. And Boomer Ahmad and Masraoui all off to AFCON. I'll be feeling a bit sick, I tell you.
It's going to go off. Hopefully, what might happen on the weekend is what happened last weekend, where some of the rivals lose and people kind of laugh at that for a little bit.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't blow it. All right, everyone, thank you very much. You can check out Dharnish's work all over the internet. You can find me on Substack, NQAT Pod. And check out our Patreon, patreon.com/NQAT pod. We normally get to an extra show every week. Appreciate your support. Whether you're viewing this or listening to it. We'll catch you next week.